Today I'm going to be talking about all the reasons to sell a stock, aka how to know to let go. Are you ready? Let's begin. Now, if you have stocks of certain companies in your portfolio, the first rule you have to have when owning stocks is to never get emotionally attached to a certain name. Now, it's fine to have names that you like more and like less, but try to not get too comfortable with having a name forever. There are some stocks that you want to own forever, but sometimes it just doesn't pan out. So once you have that important rule in place, it's time to check if it's time to sell a stock. Let's say that you own a stock of Coca-Cola. I'm just taking this as an example. I have nothing against the Coca-Cola company or Coke in general. But let's say you're seeing that in the latest quarterly report, the company has not shown any growth. There's no new products coming down the line. Management has been the same forever, and they've kind of been selling shares, and there's not a lot of positive insider trading inside the companies of employees buying shares. So just a bunch of red flags. And all these things are public, so you can basically see them. And if you yourself are not even excited about the company, these are all reasons to think about selling the stock. Now, if they maybe had products coming down the line, maybe there was a fresh new management change, there was growth in the last quarter, those would be reasons to keep the stock. But if you have mostly all kinds of red flags, you want to check if there's any light in the end of the tunnel, and if you can't see it, why should Wall Street see it? So that's one example. Another example when to sell a stock is when there is news that changes the fundamental business of a company. Now, most of the time I would tell you, never sell on the news, especially the negative news. Negative news is very scary, and it will make you a lot of times want to sell a stock. But in most scenarios, negative news is actually an opportunity to buy a stock. If we're taking, for example, a company like Facebook, which I adore on a personal level, and I own the stock, but I'm not in love with the stock, which is important. But I really like the stock, and I own it because there's a lot of negative news that never really affects the fundamental of the business. And Facebook is a great business, and at times it's so-so stock just because news affects it so much. But that's an example of a company that, as long as nothing changes in the fundamentals, I won't be selling. If something would be changing in the business, then I would be thinking about selling. If something changed in management after a good management team ran the company, a management team that created growth was suddenly exchanged, then I would be thinking about selling. If the company showed out of the blue a quarter with no growth, then I would be thinking about selling. So those are examples of two companies, Coca-Cola, Facebook. Tell me in the comment section if there's any company that you want me to maybe look at and tell you if I was an owner or potential owner, or if I'm an owner, if I'm thinking about, or I would be thinking about selling that stock. That'd be a fun exercise to do in the comment section. So remember, never sell a stock on news that is not affecting the fundamental business. If you're seeing a lot of insider selling and not insider buying, that's a red flag you should have. If a company is not growing and they're not having exciting products or services coming down the line, you should think about selling the stock just because there's a lack of innovation. And if you're seeing institutional also investors, big firms, starting to kind of sell off a stock in droves, then that should also be a red flag, just because a lot of these institutional firms will usually move flow of cash according to all kinds of things, such as ESG, which I'll cover later in a different episode. But if institutionals are moving away from a stock, that can cause a company's value to decline. And last but not least, make sure that the management team that is in place is a good management team. And if the management team isn't performing, then these are the people who are actually running the company. And if the people who are running the company are not on their A game, it might be time to sell that stock. And maybe a good management team might come in the future, and then you can buy into the stock again. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, this is the time to smash the like button. It really helps the channel. And if you're new to the channel, if you've never been here before, hit subscribe and the bell to get notified when these videos come out. Thanks for watching. See you next time.